Hello and welcome back. I'm going to go over some camera basics as everyone really needs a camera. It's kind of like one of the main things. So I'm just going to create a cube at 0, 0, 0. I'm going to lower down my camera on the Y to 0 so it's nice and centered. And I'm going to add a other directional light so that we can tell that there is some depth and stuff. Otherwise this would just be like a gray cube when we start moving around. We can't really tell. It just looks dumb. So let's start with creating a camera script. So let's go to C# script, type in camera, and we are going to make a target based system. So the camera has a look at, and it looks at this this target in space, and that's basically what we're going to focus on. And we'll also make the camera orbit it, because who doesn't like an orbiting camera every now and then for a little bit of effects. So this thing takes forever to open and mono develop. I should be doing it in Visual Studio, but I've had some problems connecting my debugger, yada yada, etc, etc. Not important. Anyways, so let's open up this, and there we go, nice and clean. As you know, if you've ever watched any of my Unity videos, I like it nice and clean, and they always started off really ugly. So let's start off by creating our camera target. So public game object, and let's call it target, and we'll just set it equal to null. So in our update, it's going to be pretty simple. All we have to do is say if target is not equal to null. So if we've assigned the target inside of the editor, we want to make this transform, because we're going to attach this script to the camera, so it controls the camera's transform. Transform. Hold on, my IntelliSense is acting up. I have to, let me save this, and there we go. Should work out now. If your IntelliSense doesn't update, by the way, like if you put a dot here, it's not working for me, but interesting. Anyways, usually if it doesn't do that, just save it out, go over here, and it'll compile it, then move back, and it should work. But since it's not, I'm just going to have to do this my way. So target.transform. So if the target's not null, this camera transform is going to look at the target's transform. Pretty simple. So let's go ahead and take this camera script and drag it on top of your main camera. So now you can see this script is attached, and the target is equal to none, which is null. So let's just grab this cube here and drag it on top of the target. Now you see cube there, and I'll hit play. You'll see that it doesn't look much different, but when I move this, you see how the camera is continuously, it'll bug out there, so you gotta watch out. This is not orbiting, by the way, it's just looking at it. So you can see how when I move this, no matter how I move it, it's gonna look at this cube. So pretty simple, right? Let me pause the video and mess around with my editor to see if I can fix it real quick. Alright, it seemed to be pretty easy. That red error sign that you saw up here before, I just right-clicked on it, and there was a reload option that I just selected and reloaded. Pretty simple stuff. Anyways, so now we want to make it so that our camera can orbit this object. So let's create a boolean. Let's make it a public bool. Let's just call it y orbit, or orbit y is equal to false. So down here, if the target's not equal to null, we're just going to also say if orbit y, then we're going to do transform. Doesn't seem to like my transform anyway. Still. So that is probably why it's not working. Let's go back to our script and let's change this name to follow camera, whatever. Then let's go down to our main camera and make sure that it's still attached. Follow camera, that's good. And we need to change this obviously, to follow camera up here. So follow camera. The reason I want to change it is because camera is a built-in Unity object. We don't want to make some ambiguous. If ours is named camera and theirs is named camera, how our code is going to trip out at some places and not know which camera to use. So let's do this. Let's just carry on. So transform. See, I get my transform now. Dot. I think it's rotate around. Yes, rotate around, and the vector3 point we're going to use is going to be target dot position, or transform dot position. So the position of our target. Let's try. I'm not too sure here yet. I haven't used this very much, but let's just say up, and let's do it by time dot delta time. So it's like seconds or something like that. So let's just jump back and hit play. And it's not checked, so let's check our box. There we go. It's going very slow. So let's increase the time dot delta time and multiply it by 5 there at the end here. And let's hit play and check our box. Now it's going around. Still a little slow for my taste because I'm a fast-paced guy. So let's hit play. Let's check our box, and there we go. It's orbiting. The reason it's orbiting this way around basically this y-axis is because we're using vector3.up. And vector3.up is equivalent to new vector3 0 1 0. Ooh, that's vector3 up. So you can assume if we said vector3.right that it's going to rotate a little differently. Oops. You can see now it's rotating on this right axis. So the right axis is left and right of this cube, and it's rotating around it. So yeah, that's pretty much it on how to get this camera to orbit. I used a boolean. You can tweak your scripts around, make it happen at certain points, and there's a target. So now it has something to look at, and not only does it look at it, but it orbits around it, so it looks nice and orbity. So that's the basics of a camera. I might do a more advanced camera later on, but that's pretty much it for the basics. So I think I'll do a character camera later on, so the camera follows the player and whatever, and not just looks at it. So yeah, and we're done.